Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paddy, and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. This is Fan Festival, this is the June show, and I'm not going to ramble too much before we start, or at least ramble about irrelevant things, because I promised you guys I'm going to be talking about the regional jump, so I'm going to do that. So, we are well past the point now where we could be considered a regional company, but as you might have saw during the intro, I capped our size at small. This was a long time ago now, but I did cap our size at small, and I've kept that cap since now, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Regional, as a jump, the things that happen at regional, I don't know them all, okay? One of the things is that as you get higher up in the company sizes, I know more about the jumps, because it's like, oh, I've done this a lot of times. Like, from cult to national, there are some clear things. From national to international, there are some clear things that are, like, really important to talk about, whether you want to make the jump or not. Whereas, you know, from local to small, I'm like, the fuck does that even do? And from small to regional, I'm like, I know a few things, but, you know, not all of it. But here's what generally happens. Company miscellaneous costs, go up. I think marketing costs go up. Your sponsorship income goes up. Your ticket sales will go up. And I think those are the main things. Obviously, your standing in the world will change. Who's considered your rivals and such, for the purposes of production, will change. And probably the most important thing between small and regional, in my opinion, is that you have to pay downsides now. So for those of you who haven't played a lot of pay-per appearance companies, a pay-per appearance deal will have a fee that you have to pay a worker when they appear on a show. And they have a downside agreement, which is basically, if you don't appear on our show all month, we will pay you this as a monthly salary. Usually these are the same. So if they appear, they get paid the same amount as if they didn't appear. Generally speaking, that's generally how the downside agreements tend to work. As a small or local company in 2016, because 2013 didn't have this, you don't have to pay any downside agreements, which means you can bring in a ton of people. If you don't use them, you don't pay them, which is how indie companies kind of work in real life. And it's actually really cool and interesting. And I'm okay with regional companies having downside agreements. I do think that's a good place to put it. But we have to consider whether we need to upgrade or not. What I will tell you guys is that as long as I'm not completely dedicated to matching my rivals' production values, the jump to a regional right now will be profitable. Well, not profitable, but it won't put us in the red. So a little tip for you guys, if you're playing along or playing a similarly sized company, is if you are making more than $20,000 a month, I think it is very safe for you to go up to regional. I would have a bit of a buffer zone. I'd be like 2 points above it before you do it, but if you're making about $20,000 a month, I think it should be fine. You might want to trim your roster down a little bit before you make the jump, though. Also, one thing is that any contracts you make while you're small I don't think they, like, in my testing, it doesn't seem like they'll be renegotiated immediately afterwards. So if you sign someone to like a 10-year deal before you jumped, they'll probably won't have a downside unless you want to sign them written later. So that's a tip. It's a kind of gamey, but I'm going to be using it. I'm going to re-sign some people before I make the jump myself. So generally, of course, one of the things is that we will be in competition with with Rhode Island. Rhode Island if we jump. And that means we're going to have to up our production values again or suffer the same penalties we were getting before Rhode Island stopped being a rival for us. That's the only hesitation I have with jumping to regional, and even then, I'm kind of okay with it. I think we'll still make a profit even if we upped our production values now. But one of the things it does is it just sends a massive hike in your ticket sales. And if you don't take advantage of that massive hike, you won't make a profit. Your added costs will just come with no benefits. The big benefit is more ticket sales. And I don't like ticket sales just jumping in the middle of nowhere. I don't think it makes sense. Or, you know, it's one of those things where it's like what can we fill right now? 2,600. I'm still running normal shows in the Charlotte Garden. Because it's just an OCD thing with me where I wouldn't want any show other than Where It All Begins Again to have the top attendance figures for the year. I don't know, it's just something within me. And that's why we're going to be going on a 1.5-year process of regionalizing. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to go to regional at next year's 2021's Where It All Begins Again. That will give us enough time to hopefully get enough pop to match Rhode Island's production values without losing money, and it will give us enough time to get to the point where that massive hike in ticket sales will make for a very big show next year at Where It All Begins Again. So I'll announce now that this year we're running Where It All Begins Again in the Mid-Atlantic Auditorium. We're almost certainly going to fill the 2,000 capacity building over there. And then next year's Where It All Begins Again, we're going for the Speedway. That's right, oh shit, I forgot what it's even called now. The Ace Speedway? Yeah, the Ace Speedway, which is 5,000 capacity. And that's what we're going to be going for next year. But if we don't make it, we're gonna run the venue anyway, and that is gonna be our regional plan. We're going regional next year, and when we get to regional, we're gonna run the Speedway for Where It All Begins Again. We're gonna run the Mid-Atlantic Auditorium for our normal events after we get to regional, or maybe I'll run other bigger buildings. I'm not entirely sure yet. And the other thing we're gonna do when we get to regional is we are going to start running shows in a second venue, a second region. Because this ramble has gone on quite a long time already, I'm not going to talk about my expansion plans this episode. I'm going to talk about my expansion plans probably in 2 episodes or so. Because next episode we have the Sam Keith Classic, which is going to take a while in and of itself. But yes, those are my general regional plans. I'm going to talk about my expansion plans in a couple of episodes, but we've talked enough. Let's get into the show. Let's go. As we open up with Team Progress, they come up, of course, Papa Dan and Robin DeLay, the new Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions. George Wolf gets on the mic and he says, what you are looking at is the future of professional wrestling. You are looking at the greatest athletes, the greatest competitors in the world. And you know what? Last month, Robin DeLay and Papa Dan proved that we are the future of professional wrestling, and they got goals around their waist, and tonight the gold of Team Progress is only going to grow. You see, Island Boy Apollo, you're being cleared to wrestle tonight. And your party isn't going to last very long. Because you're going to defend your Mid-Atlantic Championship against the 2020 Ripcord Invitational Challenge winner, Logan Wolfsbane. And tonight I get my hands on Ernest Youngman. You know, we've been around for around the same time, in this business. Ernest, you've been an American guy. You've worked the territories, you've worked all over this fine country, and I respect that, but I've been to Japan. I've got to work that crunching style, that real wrestling style. And I've got to harden up and toughen up, and I think I've got your number. You may be flashy, you may be a grappler, but tonight in the main event, I'm going to beat you up and take home what belongs to me, because I am the most naturally gifted athlete that has ever walked through those doors, and I work damn hard every day to capitalize on that natural talent. And tonight, I'm going to prove it to the world, and I'm going to win the greatest prize in this business. We open up the show with Acid 2 defeating Huracan with an acid rain bomb. High-flying devil-may-care stuff from these guys. Huracan, the luchador. Acid 2, the indie star. Good stuff, back and forth stuff as they go for their usual high-flying, bone-crunching moves. Acid 2 with his usual style of letting his body, putting his body on the line, using his body as a weapon, but in the end he does indeed pick up the victory over the young, spirited athlete Huracan. And indeed, Chris Caulfield also defeats Drake Young with a danger drop. Good stuff from these guys as well. Not too much to say about this match. It's pretty filler. And then in this match, we have Froshore versus Frantic Ali, the visitor from California. These two reuniting after their, no doubt, countless battles out west. These two have a nice, brutal, back-and-forth brawl. Frantic Ali with his traditional nasty clubbing style, trying to beat Froshore down, trying to beat out the will out of Froshore. But Froshore, he's got so much to fight for, and he's been down on his luck these past year or so. Hasn't quite won the big one. And he's got to fight. He's got to claw himself back up the ladder, and this is his first step. And indeed, he shows that fire. He shows that passion. He feeds off the energy of the Charlotte Garden, and he comes back with his big, baby-face brawling style. And in the end, picks up a victory with a sure thing in about 14 minutes. Good stuff from Froshore as he defeats Frantic Ali. Logan Wolfsbane is in the interview area, and he says, sorry about that, and he says, Alan Boy, I've watched you for a long time. I've watched your tapes, and I have to say I respect you. I really do. You work hard, and you conquer so many challenges, and god damn it, you beat Scythe last month. Or I should say, you survived Scythe last month. There's no doubt about it. You're one of the greatest competitors in the history of this company. You have the joint most reigns as champion, but I see something within you, Island Boy. You love the fight. You love to claw your way to win. When you've actually overcome that obstacle, you can't build an empire. That's a flaw, Island Boy. It's a damn flaw. Because once you've overcome that obstacle, because you don't see me as an obstacle, do you, Island Boy? Because you're the favorite tonight. You're the guy who's favored to win. So I'm not an obstacle. Beating me isn't proving anybody wrong, so you're not going to care. So tonight I'm going to pick up the victory because I'm not an obstacle. I'm the guy who's fighting from underneath. I'm the guy fighting to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to become the youngest Mid-Atlantic champion in history, just like I was the youngest Ripcord Invitational Challenge winner. Here for the battle, gone for the party. I'll see you out there. Logan doesn't think that Island Boy can hang on to a title. Thinks he's only there to overcome obstacles. Find out if he's right as we move on to our Tag Team Championship match. And in a 47D, Team Progress retain their Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships by defeating the Ring Generals by pinfall with Dele down. Good stuff once again from the new Tag Team Champions as they retain their championships. And the Ring Generals just can't catch a break. Team Progress seem to have their number. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our semi-main event of the evening. Logan Wolfsbane challenging Island Boy Apollo for the Mid-Atlantic Championship. And in a 73B-, superb wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd, Logan Wolfsbane defeats Island Boy Apollo with a Boston Crab, making Island Boy pass out. Holy shit, Island Boy in his first defense. He's tired. He's got stitches all over his face, but he comes out smiling. His entrance is a party as he comes through the crowd with the Mid-Atlantic Championship through his people. He gets in the ring, but Logan Wolfsbane, he's faster. Every single exchange, it seems like Logan's just one step ahead of Island Boy. He's just got that 1 second advantage. He's faster, he's younger, he's stronger. And while Island Boy has that passion, has that fire, it just seems like Logan's one step ahead of him at every step of the way. And in the end, Logan manages to press that advantage. And although Island Boy would never tap, never, he is forced to pass out in the middle of the ring. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, we have a new Mid-Atlantic champion. It is Logan Wolfsbane. Whew. Let me know what you think in the comments below as we move on to our actual main event of the evening. In the interview area, Ernest Youngman gets on the mic. He looks Sweet Tabitha up and down. He says, "It's always good to be in the Charlotte Garden. It's always good to be the world's heavyweight champion. It's always good to have stiff competition. And I tell you, I've been up and down this country. I've been left and right in this country. And you said it best, George Wolf. I'm an American wrestler, and I haven't seen too many better than my opponent tonight. The big bad wolf, George Wolf. I've known him a very, very long time, and he is one of the stiffest competitors in this business. But he's got that chip on his shoulder because he's never won the big one. Not in Japan, not here. He's never won a big singles gold. He's a choke artist. You know what? There's a lot to respect about George Wolf. He is naturally gifted. He is a tower of power. He's the first in the gym and the last to leave. There's no doubt about it. He takes his supplements. He says his prayers. But I tell you what, he doesn't know what it takes to be the guy. Because that's me. I'm the guy. I'm the wrestling machine. I'm the best there's ever been. I'm the assassin of the squared circle, and I don't have to go to Osaka, Japan to know what I'm worth. You see, there's only one title, George Wolf, in the wrestling world that makes you number one, and it is the shiny piece of gold. The $75,000 piece of gold around my waist right now. And to be the man, George, you gotta beat the man. And you want to talk about the men. You want to talk about your Bradford Peverells, your Nicholas Lopez's. You want to talk about your Hollywood Brett Stars. Ernest Youngman is in that conversation. Ernest Youngman is the most decorated champion in the history of the territories. And you want to talk about the man. Well, you're looking at him. That's me, George. And you want to call yourself the leader of Team Progress. You want to call yourself the future of professional wrestling. You may be, kid. But if you want to be the future goes through me. So I wish you the best of luck. Because it's going to be fun. And Ernest Youngman fired up, heads to the ring. He says the future goes through him, and indeed it does. Straight through him with a spear. Good match. Brawling from George Wolf. Ernest with that flashy technical wrestling that he has excelled at over the years, trying to wear down the big bad Wolf. But of course George, just too much power, too much strength for the heavyweight champion of the world. And a local lad from the Mid-Atlantic, the boy, comes here, beats Ernest Youngman with a spear. You know, Ernest Youngman, probably the best wrestler we have ever seen in MAW, but he lost fair and square, clean in the middle of the ring to George Wolf, who showed, you know, he's an asshole. There's no doubt about it, but you cannot question his ability. He has never cut corners. He's always worked his ass off to get where he is today. He's a 2-time Ripcord Invitational Challenge champion. He has worked his ass off. He has a body to prove it. And tonight he works his ass off. There's no cutting corners. He's a bit of a dick, sure. Sure, he's a bit of a dick. But he never cuts corners. He's in there. He is fighting hard. And Ernest Youngman, one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, can't keep the big bad Wolf down. Too much power, too much prowess. And ladies and gentlemen, as we end the show off, every single member of Team Progress has a championship title. The world champion is George Wolf. The Mid-Atlantic champion, Logan Wolfsbane. And the Mid-Atlantic tag team champions, Papa Dan and Robin DeLay. Team Progress are on top of the world going in to the Sam Keith Classic 2020. How will Ernest Youngman bounce back? How will Island Boy Apollo bounce back? And what will Team Progress do with their seeming victories in the summer of 2020? Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're feeling especially generous, please check out the Patreon link in the description. If you're feeling like hearing me ramble, please check out the Twitter link in the description. This show was a little weird for me. I'm not sure about it. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments. But yeah, lots of upheaval here in Mid-Atlantic wrestling. Please let me know what you thought in the comments. And thank you all for your support over the last couple of weeks in the series. Your comments have always been really great to read. I've been enjoying conversing with a couple of you guys over the last couple of weeks. And hopefully we will have a lot more fun in the future. The series is not going anywhere soon. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next time for the Sam Keith Classic. Peace out.